So we got Rich is looking over my magnolia bush that I've had for maybe about 5 years or so. I've been noticing some nasty stuff on the leaves here. We'll see if you can, we'll zoom in on it a little bit, see if you can pick up what that.
Well, Rolly, the good thing is you don't have any scale.
What would scale, what would that look like?
Yeah, I was trying to find one to show you. But it's a little bug that kind of looks like bark. He disguises himself as bark, and really just sits on the branch of the tree, and they can get infested in the magnolias, and they really can do some serious damage. But the good thing is you don't have any. You just don't have any scale, and you'll notice a black sooty. From them you'll notice a black sooty look to the cane and to the branches and the leaves all over the plant. If you have scale, it's the first indication. A lot of times I'll see the black sootiness before I'll see the scale. But you really just got a powdery mildew issue going on with your magnolia here. It's a pretty healthy tree. It just got a little powdery mildew.
Now, you were saying to me, we talked about it last week a little bit, you thought that it didn't look like it was growing to its full potential, or what were you saying about that?
Yeah, without knowing the variety, it just seems to be a slower growing tree. I mean, you look at what you got for new growth this year, and you've probably got 6 inches of new growth. Maybe 8 inches of new growth. So that's not a lot, and I've seen them. This type of tree put more growth on. Overall, I would say that we could probably start a fertilization program that would be, more advantageous for magnolia. You are keeping the weeds away from the bottom, and get it to really put on some new growth. For next year. You got bud sets, which is nice right now. You got nice bud sets that are all set for next year. That little fuzzy thing that you can kind of zoom in on here, you'll see them, those are next year's bud sets. So that's next year's flowers. Every once in a while I'll throw a flower here and there. A bud swells too much, but those are good little aspects of this plant. Yeah, so this powdery mildew thing, I really wouldn't worry about it too much. You could spray for it if you want to get it controlled. Spray earlier in the season. And
as soon as you notice something like that, it's the time you're going to do the spray, right? I mean, I've seen it the last couple of months.
If you've got a plant that's susceptible to it, then it's something you probably want to start early on. One treatment here, one treatment there, and it'll keep it knocked down early. Before it even has it, just spray for it, and then it should keep it clean throughout the year. I mean, it's not a big deal. Lilacs get it, magnolias get it. All kinds of different plants can get this powdery mildew issue, and it's out there in nature, and some plants are susceptible to it and some plants aren't. This time of year everything starts to show up. You see a lot of leaf, you see a lot of scald and burning on the edges of everything from horse chestnuts to crab apples to things just start dropping. As summer wears on here, you'll see things progressively drop.
Is that what happened to my dogwood over there?
No, your dogwood needs immense pruning.
You told me that it looked like I threw gas on it and lit a match to it. But you're telling me that we talked about this last week on the show. We can cut that down, prune it down, get all that cane out of there, and
get this old stuff. See this old junky disease junk. We can really reinvigorate this thing with just pruning practices. It's got, anthracnose, but all this stuff we'll end up just getting this stuff, old woody stuff out. Timber. So it's really kind of poor pruning practices, Rolly.
Sure, understood.
And, so we'll start all over again with this thing, and you'll have a wonderful tree.
I thought I was just going to get a chain and a strong truck with a bumper and pull it out. Yeah, I think that'll be a nice little challenge for me.
No, we can bring that back, and this whole area that we're talking about in here is an area that we're going to kind of renovate, rip out the sidewalk, deal with this concrete issue here. You see this concrete between here and the ground. Well, I don't like to see that, so that'll be something we're going to talk about. Access is going to change. from here to the porch. You're going to have your traffic pattern change, your parking lot. You can see where I parked over off the side of your driveway so that your wife could get out to work today. And that'll be one thing we'll address, is how we can make for better parking when I come over to visit. So this is all about me. All about me.
Well, we'll have to have you visiting all the time.
Yeah, we had to change the landscape because Rich has no place to park when he comes to Rolly's house. So, we'll deal with those issues, and we're going to focus right on this corner in here. And it'll be fun, and it'll be a great place to start, and it'll be a thing to get excited about, and then we'll change the front slowly. But this area, I would say, probably from the front corner of the house over to the lamp pole and back to the driveway will be the area of impact.
It's great. It's quite a mess.
Hey,
and
we've never seen the backyard.
And here's my other magnolia over here. This tree's grown a lot in the last couple of years.
Nice bushy.
That's a white magnolia, and
so it's Royal Star.
yeah, when you say it like that, the flowers are kind of star-shaped.
Yeah, and much nicer, healthier. No powdery mildew.
No.
Good plant, not as susceptible.
Do I need to worry about shaping that, pruning that, or anything, or just let it go crazy?
No,
or
they just seem to do very nicely. Over time you can pick up the bottom, but right now the buds are already set. So once you see that set, you don't want to fuss with that. You would have had, if you wanted to prune this, you should have done it right after it was done flowering. And then you could prune it, and it would flush out for the season. But now, if you go in and prune now, you're just going to be pruning bud set off. So not a good idea. And again, that's the bud set. So not a good idea for now. But next season, once it's done flowering, you can limb it up off the bottom, shape it up. If you want to take a branch here that's way out too far, see how heavy that is? A little bit of snow, that might be, might come down or break. So you can prune these things up to shape them a little bit. This Royal Star tends to be a small bush more than the one like Jane out front will be a bigger tree. So it's just something that you really kind of have to know what the plant's going to do in order to be productive as far as your pruning techniques go.
Okay, so now we're looking at a lilac that's not the most beautifully shaped or filled out lilac known to man. We've probably had it here in our yard 9 or 10 years, and it's just kind of...
Yeah, Rolly, this is typical. It's actually planted a little deep. This would be a tree that I would dig around, try to get down to the root zone, and then go all the way around getting rid of this weed control in here and remulch it. You can kind of see as I wiggle the tree, there's a little bit of softness to how it's in. So, and it's kind of reflected in the structure of the plant. It's not real leafy, a lot of dead wood. Could be a borer in there, it just could be anything. So we want to dig that out, get the soil off the roots, try to figure out where the crown is, mulch it. And it's alright to kind of leave it low in your sandy soils and make watering easier. Again, I wouldn't prune this until after next year's flowering, but you'll notice a lot. Once next year we fertilize it, dig around it, fertilize it, you can use manure and compost and really start to enrich this sandy soil, and this tree will do a lot better. These are French hybrids, so I don't know if it's purple, white, lavender, but I just tell by the shape of it, it's probably either a white or a Charles Joly purple. It's very upright and vase shape. So that's the technique for this type of tree. Looking at what to do here is 3-foot circle all the way around it. A lot of manure back in, get rid of the weeds, and then mulch it. And then next year you'll have to do some pruning after it's done blooming, and this thing will really start to turn around. This tree is easy to bring back around.